Hey guys, it's the Junior Coder. In this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about Matplotlib. Matplotlib is one of the most popular libraries in Python when it comes to visualizing data. So that means to create charts. So let's get started with this library. So exactly like the NumPy video, the first thing we got to do is go open the terminal. Then we're going to be doing it in Jupyter Notebook. So we type JUPYTR Notebook. So as you can see, Jupyter Notebook is open. We're going to create a new file in desktop, new, and Python 3 file. So now we are inside our notebook. You can rename your notebook right over here. I'm going to call it Matplotlib Basics and click rename. So we can start off by importing Matplotlib into our notebook. So we do import Matplotlib and then dot pyplot. So pyplot is a submodule of the Matplotlib, and this is used to easily create graphs. So we import pyplot as plt. So that means that every time we want to use this pyplot module, we don't need to just type pyplot every time. We simply type plt, which is pretty useful. So now let's hit shift and enter to run this line. So now we're ready to get started. Now the focus of this video is only for the basics of Matplotlib. And if you want me to make an advanced Matplotlib tutorial, leave it in the comment section so I can see it. So now we're going to define a list. I'm going to call that list temperature. It's a list, so square brackets. And in that list, I'm going to do 28, 29, 31, 30, 28, 24, and lastly 23. So that's the first thing. These are the temperatures over a week. And now we need a second day list. So call that day, square brackets, and these are strings instead of integers. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and lastly Sunday. So now we have two sets of data. One is for X, one is for Y. So now we can hit shift enter. So now, as I said, we have our data. Now we need to visualize that data using a chart. And the easiest way to do this is by typing plt.plot. So plot is a function in the pyplot module right here. And in that, we're going to give it two sets of lists. The first one is day. The second one is temperature. So now we created this data. Now we need to just show this data on the screen. So we can do that by typing plt.show, shift enter. As you can see right here, on the X values, we have Monday all the way to Sunday. And on the Y values, we have between 23 and 31. So as you can see, it's really simple to just create a line chart. So now to make it easier to read this graph, we're going to add labels. So right after we plot it, we're going to do plt.xlabel. So that it just says it in the name, that's the X label. And in that, we're going to give it a string. So as you can see, X are the days. So I type days. Then plt.y label. That is the temperature. So now let's run it. As you can see, we have two nice little labels, days and temperature. So what if you want to show more than one set of data in one graph? So let's actually make a new list. I'm going to call this week 1 temperature. Then we're going to do week 2 temperature. That's another list. And in that list, I'm going to type 27, 24, 20, 18, 19, 17, lastly 21. So with that, we basically have another set of data to work with. That is the week 2 temperatures. So when we plot this, right after the first one, actually we have to change this to week 2 because we changed it, week 1 I mean. And then right after that, we type a comma and enter. So now we need to add 2 more values in this set of parentheses. The first one is the x values. That is the same, it's day, and then comma. Second one is week 2 temperatures. Okay, so now let's run it. So it gives us an error. That's because we forgot to hit shift and enter on this one again. Shift enter, and over here, shift enter. So now as you can see, we have 2 nice little lines. So now what if we want to format these 2 lines a bit differently? So let's say we want to change the style or the color. So maybe you don't like this default colors. So that is really simple. So actually to do that, we need to go back to the plotting. Right after the week 1 temperature, space, we add a string, and then comma. So basically this is the first line. And here we add the second line. We do the same thing, comma, string. We don't need to add a comma since that is the last value we give it. So now if you want to have a black line for the week 1 temperature, that is K. So I actually don't know why it's K, but the Matplotlib module says it's K, and K is for black. If you do that and hit shift and enter, you can see that week 1 temperature is in black. So we can do the same thing for week 2 temperature. We'll add G for green. Shift enter. As you can see, black for week 1, green for week 2. So now what if you want to change the style of the line? So not the color, but the style. So to do that, we simply add the line style right before the color. So we have a few line styles in Matplotlib. If you add 2 dashes, shift enter, as you can see, we have this kind of style. If you add a colon, shift enter, it's this small dots. And if you add O, it's this bigger dots. So this is more like a scatter plot. So now what if you want to add a limit for both the x and y values? So we can't actually use this function if we have strings for one of them. So I'm actually going to change these strings to integers over here. I'm just going to do some random ones. 20, 30, 15, 14, 18, 21, and lastly 34. So to do that, right after the temperature, so actually we run this, shift enter, and then right after the temperature we do plt dot axis, and then parenthesis, square brackets, and then we add 4 values. So x minimum, x maximum, y minimum, y maximum. So the x minimum we want, so x is days. Let's say we want between 10 and 40. 10 and 40 should work. So 10, 40, and then comma, and then for the temperature, we'll do between 10 and 35. 10, 35. So now let's run it. As you can see, we have some kind of line graph over here. But what's important here is that, as you can see, it's between 10 and 35 and 10 and 40. So don't worry about this line graph. So that's actually it for the basics of Matplotlib. As I said before, if you want to see an advanced version of this tutorial, please be sure to leave it in the comment section so I can see it. And if you learned something, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you next time. Bye.